Here we go. And I'm going to share my screen. So everybody that signed up for this workshop is going to get a copy of this workbook as well. And please, if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions, this is a really cool workshop when we were talking about to make sure that everything in your kitchen has its place and the space itself is working really well for you. Please let me know. Otherwise, we'll definitely chat afterwards and see if anybody has any thoughts and suggestions. All right, you should be seeing my screen right now. Perfect. All right, let's get started. 10 things all organized have to have in common. I hope you have some fun with me today. Let's talk about how do we make one of our favorite rooms in our house to work the best for you. My name is Olga St. Pierre. I am a real estate agent by trade with Keller Williams Real Estate. One of the big things that I truly love to talk about is, not only helping our clients make a move anywhere in the United States and Canada, but also help you love your home as much as you fell in love with when you purchased it. So we help you be responsible homeowners. We have been doing this work full time with our small but mighty team for the last 14 years. And we, of course, want to be here for you as well. That's why, as part of our workshops here, we bring you some really cool and fun ideas for our homeowners. And we also have our concierge service. If you have any need for a contractor, if you need to get your income taxes done, if you need to talk to an attorney, just let us know who are you looking for, and we will be sure and happy to make a recommendation or point you in the right direction. That is part of our commitment for our community. So please reach out to us and let us know. And it is absolutely no charge to you. So there we go. So how are we going to make our kitchen work for us? How does that space is going to be exciting and fun for us? So number one, we want to make sure that we are using all of our empty wall space. I think a lot of times we think that we have to fill the surfaces that are on top of something like a table or a countertop. So what I encourage you to do is, after this workshop, is go into your kitchen and look at it with a new set of eyes. How can I use the space that I have, whether it's a ceiling, wall, and then after that, of course, we're going to use our countertop space and our floor space. So number one, let's talk about our wall space. Let's see how we can create more space on our countertops, because as an example, when I'm working with clients who are getting ready to sell their home, one of the biggest things that we want to do in the kitchen is to create and show as much visual space as possible. And a lot of that time means that we are going to be clearing out our countertops. So wall space, think about some of the really, really great ways for you to use up your backsplash or your general wall space. Can you potentially hang some brackets and some hooks to organize your mugs? It's been really much in style to create a little kind of organizing nook space, your coffee bar, your tea bar. So think about doing that. People love to use hooks because if they don't have a lot of closet or storage space in kitchens, especially maybe if you're in the apartment or if you are in an older home, older homes don't have a lot of space or storage space or closet space overall. How can we use our hooks to hang them things that are up in the ceiling or use them on the wall as well? So what we're talking about here is hooks and some floating shelves or hanging baskets. And we have some ideas here for you. Of course, anything that you see, you can easily obtain through Amazon. You can shop at IKEA, or of course, you can head over to Walmart, Amazon, or Home Depot or Lowe's. So what we're also like to do is store the items where we need them. So what I want you to think about is if you are a voracious cook, let's talk about how we can set up systems to help you get everything organized so that way it's right there where you need it. So if you're cooking and you have a couple of pots on the stove and you need to quickly use a spatula or you need to use a spoon to mix something, what does that system looks to you so that way you have all of those utensils really close by? I actually love having like a rotating table next to my stove because I cook quite a lot. And on that rotating table, I like to have my utensils, and I also like to I have salt, and I also have my container of olive oil, right? So those are the most important things to me that when I'm cooking. So think about what is it that you use on a regular basis. It could be that you use spices when you cook everything, whether it's maybe balsamic vinegar or oil, and what utensils are most important to you, and then decide what kind of organization, what kind of tray or a rotating table or a bowl or a container is going to make sense to you. Okay. So, especially if you're thinking about it, like if you're digging in a pantry for some items that are the same ones all the time, that is when it's time for you to design that system of things that you use most often. And of course, depending if you're lefty or righty, you're going to put those items and situate them, that system, either to the right of your stove or to the left of your stove. Next, to have that HD TV, swoony worthy kitchen look. If you ever look at some of the catalogs or online, or if you're looking at some of the, Pinterest pictures where we look at and showcase kitchens, you'll see that a lot of the times the countertops are as clean as possible. And if you think about it, we keep so much information in our head. And I was actually listening to a podcast the other day, and they said that we are the amount of information that we get in one day, I think equals to like 7 printed newspapers, which is a lot. So when you come home, you want your kitchen to be a place of relaxation for you to just kind of get away from the outside world and all of that chaos. And for us, a lot of that times, visual space is what's going to help you and calm your brain. So let's talk about keeping our junk mail, recycling all the other items off of your cooking space, and figure out, again, having some kind of a system where those things are going to go. It's okay to put it down in the beginning, maybe as you just got home, but just be mindful that you're not going to leave it there where it's going to accumulate. So think about creating specific nooks, specific areas that are going to be designated for certain things, but make sure that your countertops are not going to be used for those items. Next, I encourage you to go through and look at your overall tools and appliances that you are using. It's very easy to get wrapped up or to put that on your list. And then, of course, you're going to get some of those gifts maybe around the holiday time in the winter, like Christmas or Hanukkah. But really, how many tools and appliances do you really need? And perhaps if you love the gadgets, think about investing in 1 or 2 gadgets that do more than one thing. Okay. I am a big fan of having my KitchenAid stand mixer, and I actually use it for mixing everything from my ground beef for meatballs to actually making cakes and cookies. And the second appliance that I really, really love is my Instapot, because I use it for steaming, I use it for oatmeal, I use it to make soup and everything else. So it's very much versatile to me because you can use it for many, many functions. I can't tell you how many times when I visit my clients at homes and I see the parade of appliances that rarely get used, maybe once a year, that occupy so much space in their home, whether it's in the pantry, whether it's on the stairs to go down in the basement, or it has a whole storage rack in the basement. So I want you to take a look and see if you haven't used it in a long time, maybe 6 months to a year. My suggestion to you is let's donate them and see, again, what kind of system can we set up for those items that we use on a regular basis, and then definitely using those tools and appliances. Next, let's talk about an organized spice cabinet. In our family, we have a staple of the spices and herbs that we use, and I actually love to have them all in one cabinet space shelf, and that's all where they are. So in the beginning, my recommendation to you is take everything out that you have. And number one, throw away expired spices, because if stuff is old, it's not going to really add that really special flavor to your food. Next, make sure that they are easily accessible. So think about, maybe you can put them on the shelf if you use it all the time. Do you want it to be out in the open, or do you want it to be tucked in the cabinet? So think about those things. And there's really some really great ways that you can use it. Again, think about of a system. How are you going to store your spices? Is it going to be some kind of a tiered shelf? Is it going to be a turntable? They have some magnetic spice racks that you can actually put on the sides of the cabinets or refrigerators, or it's maybe something really fancy where you invest into some kind of a slide out cabinet organizer. So those things are really fun to play around with. And again, what you're doing is setting up a system that is going to work for you. Now let's talk about having a system and a place for everything in your kitchen. And that's important because then you can easily find something. And when you're, especially when you're running out of your staples, or if you're running out of things in the refrigerator, you know exactly what they are and you can put them on your shopping list. So you can get these organizers for all of your utensils, even at Walmart. I love organization, clear containers that you can purchase and invest in Amazon and Walmart. My recommendation to you is, when you're designing what your space is going to look like, make sure that you're using all of the airspace that you have on each shelf. I think that's one thing that we don't realize, but we can actually move the shelves in our cabinets as to the height that we need to. And then we can adjust and adapt them as we need to, and then use some of these stackable shelves and clear containers to help you maximize the storage space that you have, especially if you don't have a lot of it. So I have some examples here for you where you can use the shelves and hooks on your cabinet doors, where you can have these adjustable shelves to store your plates to maximize, again, the space that you already have. All right, let's talk about cleaning. I think kitchen is like on par with bathrooms, that gets dirty quite often because we use it so many times. So think about and invest in some systems that are going to help you clean your kitchen and maintain it and let it sparkle, so that way you can continue to enjoy it. Scrub Daddy is one of my favorites. I actually purchased Scrub Daddies for a lot of my close friends and relatives in last winter holidays, and they all are using them. And you know what? The Scrub Daddy that I have, which is the original yellow one like you see on the photo, it is still in great shape. It is still doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's still scrubbing away and cleaning everything that it needs to clean. So think about, again, having some kind of a system on some of the things that you might want to do daily, like loading and unloading the dishwasher and wiping countertops, right? Those are some of the things that I can think of at the top of my head. And then think about and put on your calendar the things that you should do weekly, and then things that you should be doing monthly, right? Because as long as you stay on top of those things, your kitchen is going to continue to serve you well, and it's going to still look as gorgeous, and you're going to enjoy it as much as possible. Using the fridge and the counter organizers. So don't forget, when you are working in your kitchen, your refrigerator needs organization as well. So don't forget that. We actually talk about it quite a bit in our declutter class that talks about the whole house, but in the kitchen, that is one of the first things that I suggest that you kind of tackle and get things organized. We are big proponents of clear plastic storage bins as well as glass jars. And as you know, a lot of the food that comes in glass jars, you can then just clean out the jars and use them for your own storage containers. Like I love ragu jars. I love pickle jars because they're big enough, yet they're compact enough for you to store things. And if you haven't seen this trend lately on TikTok, what they recommend is for you to take your berries out of the plastic containers and actually put them in glass. And they are supposed to last longer in your refrigerator. So I'm not sure. I haven't tested the video yet, but if you have, please let me know, because I would love to know if it's actually truly working or not. So plastic storage bins are your friends for storage, because you can see if your container is full or you're starting to run out, which means then you can then put those items to be purchased on your grocery list. Okay. Other items that are extremely helpful here are the turntables, drawer dividers, bins, and baskets, and they're going to help you prevent any kind of messes and spills and make sure that your kitchen looks nice and organized in your drawers and cabinets. So we also want to talk about and kind of figure things out to see if the things that you're storing, do you want them to be as an open storage where it is something that you are going to enjoy looking at as well as your family and it's going to make you happy? Or there are some things that you really need to put away because they don't need to be seen. Okay, so it's something for you to decide depending on your taste and your style and your personality and how do you want your kitchen to look like for you. Remember, when you are doing the system and organization, it's not for you to advertise it to others. It is for you to create the space that you're going to love and you are going to enjoy using on a regular basis. So if you want to maybe add a couple of herb pots, right, they're going to be up in the open, or if you have some plants that you want to display, it's fun to display pretty cutting boards, whether they're used or not, as long as they're in good shape. If you have a coffee bar, you may want to display some things in pretty glass jars, some flowers in vases, but then decide that some other things maybe that don't look as nice, then they can be kind of hiding behind the closed doors. Let's talk about using labeling where it's needed. One of my best places for you to use labels for and the label tools is for you to actually label where things go in the refrigerator. I think that is one of my best tips that I can recommend to you, because if you're labeling and saying, okay, this is where the ketchup goes and the mayo and eggs, if you're starting to run low on those items, you're going to put them on your grocery list. And that way, it's also going to help you save money because you don't have 3 different bottles of ketchup kind of tucked in different parts of your refrigerator. And then you find them and you're like, well, this is already expired, so I'm just going to throw it away. So it's also a money saver. I think it's also a sanity saver where you're starting to run out, you put it on your list, and the next time you go head to the grocery store, you grab your list to go with you. Another time labeling is also helpful is when you have your clear jars, and let's say you are pouring some like quinoa or some of other kind of cereals or things like that. If you label them, and you can make the labels really, really pretty right now. So you can have different fonts and different types of paper and different types of label styles as well. So let's make it pretty and make it fun so that way you can actually enjoy looking at those products. So that's what I want to share with you today. The idea here, again, is that you design your systems and the setup of your kitchen to work for you. Do you cook a lot? If you don't cook a lot, maybe you can things, maybe you make jams. So you set up the systems for those products and those tools that are going to help you truly love your kitchen and make sure that it works for you. So if you would love to talk to me in private and kind of pick my brain on some of the ideas and what you're thinking about doing, feel free to reach out. My contact information is here. This is my actual cell phone and my email, and I do answer my phone, and I'm always happy to chat with you. If you would like to talk about a complimentary home updating consultation, I'm always doing those because people are always trying to get an idea on how they can invest and what they can invest in their home to get the biggest return on the money that they're going to put into their home. Anything else that you can think of, we would love to be your real estate and your community resource of choice. And of course, if you are interested, we do have some other upcoming workshops that we're doing something fun almost every day, and it's on our Live with Olga schedule here. And you can always find our market and community updates as well as webinar recordings for this workshop in particular on all the ones that we've had in the past, and they're all located on these 2 YouTube channels. So you can just click right on and head over there. And on social media, most of the time, I am hanging out on Facebook. So if you would like to find me there, I'm more than happy to connect with you. So that's what I have to share with you today. Please let me know, what questions do you have? Maybe you have set up really cool systems that work for you, or you have some other suggestions that we can add to our workshop for next time. Let's see if anybody has anything for Yeah, we also added the links to the YouTube channels as well as the scheduling. So, okay, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for a great workshop. Thank you, Janice. Anybody has any questions, anything that is in particular that maybe you have questions on, then let us know as well. All right. Well, if nothing else, yes, if you were late coming in, don't worry. We are going to send you a copy of the recording as well as a copy of the workbook so that way you can start getting your creative juices going for your own kitchen work and projects. All right. Well, if nothing else, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this workshop, and we hope to see some of you, all of you again at one of our other sessions. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye, everybody.